Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Goeienaand mense van die Kaapse vlakte. Hope you guys are good. Hope het gaan goed. I have a young lady with me in the studio tonight, and she's going to talk about the arts currently at the Artscape and at the Baxter. There's two events happening, and she's going to tell us more about a very important event happening over the weekend. And I want you guys to support it, because we support artists. If you support them, we support their livelihood. It's the same as supporting a business. So with me in the studio, we've got this beautiful young lady. Welcome to Cape Flats Stories.
Thank you so much for having me, sir.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Nwabisa.
I don't want to say it, maybe I'm going to say it wrong. So this one asking you what's your name.
So my name is Nwabisa Plaki. Nwabisa meaning to make others happy.
Wow, 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 wow. Now I also know.
Originally from the Eastern Cape, came to study at the University of Cape Town and then stayed.
And now you're going to stay here forever. Cape Town is the best province, right?
It is, but you know, I used to stay here full time, but now I come and go.
Okay.
Freelance work.
Okay. What is happening in Cape Town over the weekend and tonight? What is happening? Tell people.
So yeah, I'm just thinking about all the lovely shows happening in cultural institutions and theatre spaces, and also just want to speak specifically about the Meraki Dance Festival, which will be happening at Artscape from the 27th of February till the 1st of March. I think people are used to cultural events. You know, even now when we ask about it, you know, we go to concerts, we go to music shows, we go to theatre productions, but and they've become a part of our lives. You know, but people hardly say they're going to a dance festival. It's just, you know, you can go to a choreographer that you love, but we don't often talk about dance festivals. And jazz art, which is one of the oldest contemporary dance companies in South Africa, it's 52 years old, is now launching a dance festival in Cape Town.
Okay.
And we've invited various companies, you know, Figure of Eight Dance Company, Cape Ballet Africa, Cape Town City Ballet, you know, various other community groups as well, to come together and help us launch the Meraki Dance Festival. And in dreaming this festival, I think, you know, I must go back to the word Meraki and what it means. You know, it means to do something with passion, with soul, to bring Meraki, to really bring something of yourself in what you're doing. And you know, when I listen to you, and even talking about, you know, entrepreneurship and protecting your ideas and all, you know, I start thinking about unemployment in the country, and how we all launch different things, and how some people are artists, you know, and the products that they're launching, artistic products. And so when we look at the sector, we're dealing with a lot of unemployment. We're dealing with funding cuts. And when we were dreaming the festival, I think one of the key conversations was, maybe we don't have the solutions, right? But if we each bring of ourselves, if we each bring our passions, something will emerge.
Exactly.
How about we create a platform where people can come in, you know, and then we see in that third space, you know, as people are bringing the things that they are passionate about, what will emerge. So it really stemmed from that, and then, you know, starting small and saying, let's look at dance, you know, let's look at what people are doing, and also what about the people that are not dancing, you know, how do we involve them? If you look at the jazz art history, is that, you know, they're training dancers, they go into communities and have outreach as well. So they also train various young people and introduce dance to various young people in communities. So they also have, you know, evening dance classes for people that are not pursuing dance. So we're also dreaming a festival that was not only going to be about the artist, but was also going to be about the various people that engage with dance in some way or would like to engage with dance in some way. So we also created workshops and made sure that the festival programming has workshops, you know, so that people can watch but also can dare themselves to dance.
So everybody can come, and there will be something for everybody. That's basically what you're saying.
That's basically what I'm saying. And also I think we really prioritize things that particularly in the arts, sometimes we like the intellectual engagement of things, you know, the theorizing. And I think we've really given attention to developing our intellectual capacities. But when you really start thinking about the body and the hierarchy, how many things, are you really doing that challenge and develop your body? Is your body as articulate? And if you were going to watch a story and it was not, the central focus wasn't words, but we're looking at the body expressing the ideas, do you put yourself in spaces like that? And I think another thing, maybe this one also has to do with the fact that Ndingomxhosa, or, where I was first generation artist in my family, where my family is constantly asking, you don't learn, what are you, what is this? Explain it to us, So I think a lot of time we also have to look at the legacies of apartheid, and how most things feel like they are not for us and are for white people. And it's also the same with going to the theater. There are people that still just like, it's white people things. I'm not going there.
It's not for us.
So I think even now it's just a moment sometimes to think about our cultural experiences and to really think about the type of country you want to have. I think we fight for our basic human rights. We fight for water. We fight for many things. And we often forget that we also have a right to beauty.
Exactly.
We have a right to art. There's funding for art. So there are policy papers. You can actually, you also have a right to find out what's happening, and are you captured? Because this is also something that you should be part of. You should experience it. And maybe not only a dance festival, but it's also music festivals. It's also theater. But I think going back to the thing that there's a lot that we talk ourselves out of. And I'm hoping that the festival is just a reminder that we also deserve beautiful things. You also have a right to dance, and you should defend that right.
And so now they are watching it, and I already sold. So where do I buy my tickets, and where do I go to?
Tickets are available on web tickets. So literally, even when you a quick Google search of Meraki Dance Festival, you'll see web tickets just showing it there. And they are $150 per show. But we also have limited tickets, which is a festival pass, that are 300 Rand. So you can just buy a festival pass and you'll be able to experience everything. Yeah, and then for the workshops, it's a little bit different. Because for the workshops, they are 75 Rand per session. And I mean, you email dance@jazzart.co.za to make a booking. And again, on our social media, you can always message us on Facebook, Jazz Art Dance Theatre, or Instagram, Jazz Art Dance, and also on our website, so jazzart.co.za. So we constantly just wanting to communicate with people.
And it's happening at the Artscape, right?
Happening at Artscape.
There's an event happening tonight. Was this the introduction?
No, it's not. It's not with us.
Okay. So we are just focusing on Thursday night.
Thursday night, opening Friday, Saturday. Saturday is just like that day where you can really just go with your family. You can have a Saturday, challenge yourself. I don't know how many people dance. Literally,
everybody dance.
Yes, no. That's the thing. We want everyone to dance, but there's people that still feel conscious. You put music on. 5 people get up, and the other one is like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be." That's not it. So really just challenge yourself. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to a dance class. You join a workshop in the morning, from 11 up until 2 we have workshops, various dance workshops. And then at 2 you can have a matinee. And then in the matinee, there's a performance 2 hour, and then there's the evening one. And you can also just bring your little one, because we actually just also have a dance workshops for 7 to 12-year-olds. So literally it could be a family date. The parents drop the kids to dance there, and they also dance, and then they watch the matinee together in the day. Or if you come into the evening, you then watch the evening performance.
It's for everyone.
For everyone.
Last time, where can we get the tickets, and how much are the tickets?
Tickets are available at web tickets, and they are 150 per show, and 300 Rand for a festival pass.
Thank you so much. I'll have you back in the studio, because we needed to go more into detail about what you said earlier on. Sometimes I feel it isn't for us, but it's for everyone.
It's definitely. And also, it's also those things that sometimes you think you're making the choice now. Like you see something like Dance Fest, and you're like, nah, not for me. And it's like, no, it's culture trapping you. It's habit and culture, and it's the legacy of apartheid. It's saying you don't deserve that. It's for white people. You're speaking yourself out of it.
Yes, it's for everyone.
When it's for everyone, you deserve it too.
And we are the Rainbow Nation.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, my sister. I'll be back on here. So people, please do go and buy tickets. Web ticket, Maraki, and then it's 150 and 300 for weekend pass. Thank you so much.
Thank
Keep
you so
well.
much.
Thanks. So I'll be back now with another young man, a well-loved young man. I'll introduce him now. So you guys don't want to miss this. Things is gonna heat up, tires is gonna burn, people are gonna fly out of the car. So we're gonna have a liquor time now. So don't go away, don't go away. Okay. Thank you so much, eh? I'll definitely. Good evenings, I'm back again. So with me in the studio, I've got a very young man. I've got a young man here, very well loved in the community of spinning. And we will get into that part now. So Raziek, we have him in the studio. Raziek Rajah is known as Outlaws, and we can talk more about that. And where did he get his name from? Because I find it strange. I want to refer to him as Raziek, but also I see people call him Rajah, so you can explain to us. Raziek, welcome to Cape Play Stories.
How's it, Stan?
Welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Firstly, the first question I want to ask you, can you jazz?
I can a little bit. I'm used to, but if you can't jazz, you don't belong on the Cape Play, because you learn with the eyes.
You know, I struggled to jazz. It took me a long time. But I still stumble over my feet a little bit, but I'm sort of off and off.
Okay.
But you know what? It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. The thing is this: you asked me an interesting question. How did the name Rajah start out? You know, I found myself on an international business trip, and I just went through this epiphany of wanting to create something different. And the wanting to create something different, I ended up cutting up a fairly expensive car. And halfway through this, I thought, do I need to go on medication? Because I looked at a car that I cut up.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, brother, you know what, couldn't you have chosen something easier? And in any case, Raziek GTR was born.
Okay. So just to come back, you cut up a GTR?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Okay, now so, there is something wrong.
So you know, to be a race driver, let's say, you must have a screwflop. You can't be a normal person and you want to get into a race car and do things, because it is abnormal things you're doing. So in any case, and you know what happened with social media was, that was my first real introduction to social media.
Okay.
Because I put a video on of what we had built. And it was a number of guys that played a very positive role in building this car. Nias Daniels from X-Mods being one of them. And I saw the views go from like 3,000. I thought, hey, that's big, man. Yo, 3,000. I was still bragging to my wife, see, I got 3,000 views. And then it went to 20,000, 25,000. And then I reached 2 million people. And then I sat back and I thought, okay, this could potentially be something more. And then I woke up another morning and I said, listen, I think I want to do a reality car show.
Nice.
And if you think my wife at that time, she looked at me and, you know, I think she was very confused. And I'm not the type of guy that sings in the shower. I'm the type of guy that grabs the baseball bat.
Yeah.
You know, so, especially where we've come out from, we don't sing in the shower.
Yeah.
So I came out of the shower and I said a few words, and I said to her, I'm going to get somebody important to sing this.
Yeah.
She said to me, my darling, come here, sit down. I think you're going through a midlife crisis. Because first you cut up a car,
Yeah.
then you said you want to do a reality car show, and then you came along and you said, you're telling me now you want an important person to sing these words.
Yeah.
I said to her, watch this space. She said, you are going through a midlife crisis. I said, no, I haven't hit the midlife yet.
Yeah,
I'm not going through a crisis. This is maybe a brainwave. She
Yeah.
said, well, we'll find out. Let's see how long it lasts. So, you know what, all said, we're on season 6.
Wow.
The thing is this, we've aired on Supersport, we've aired on Ignition. Brandon from Ignition has been one of the real amazing guys. We've aired on OpenView, ETV.
Okay.
Supersport being the most difficult. I
Yeah.
think that was a real challenging exercise for me, coming out of construction / finance, knowing a little bit about race driving,
Yeah.
and then going to meet the Supersport specifications. I'm not somebody to stand down from a challenge, but let me tell you something, they count the millisecond, which was good.
Yeah.
It was a good learning curve for us. So in season 3 we aired on Supersport, and you know what, it's been a great road so far.
We're going to come back to the show now. But when I ask people, wie is Raziek? They say hy is 'n geelgat. And so that is, you know, you get different things that people call, I mean, all of us. But Raziek, just tell the people, from where are you originally from?
You know, it's what I would say is the easiest thing in life to do is judge. And unfortunately, I'm maybe going to say things that's not going to sit well with the narrative. But my late grandmother and them were thrown out of District 6 into Rondebosch into Hanover Park. And 72A Hanover Park Lane is where my grandmother was thrown in the time of apartheid, and that's where she lived for the rest of her life and died. The point in case is that I think when my dad, many years ago, decided to take a wheelbarrow and 3 individuals, and he said, I'm going to start up a business. I can't do this where we have the shackles around us. And as non-whites, we live in this environment where we have shackles around us. And he broke that shackles at a very, very early stage in his life. And I think that's where we got the courage from as his kids. When we came into the fore and looked, and as a kid you sort of emulate what you see around you.
Correct.
So if like when people say to me, those people, I've heard it many times. We've got progressive people in South Africa, and we've got people that haven't moved past 94. That's the reality. The reality of it is I've got a lot of friends and family where you say it's those people. You know, like a funny story was, somebody was telling me, you wouldn't understand the plight of somebody in Manenberg. So I said, well, I've had an aunt that still lives in Manenberg. So I don't understand what you mean. Do you visit your family in Manenberg, is the question I posed. I don't have family in Manenberg. I said, oh, so now what? You became an uppity colored now. Now suddenly you don't have family in Manenberg. I am not shy to say I've got a grand auntie. She passed away about 2 months, 3 months back. And I said, listen, the thing is this. You know, when it comes to life, it's relative. You find somebody looks at someone else and they're always saying, oh, why him? Why her? And there's something that my late mom taught us is, if you look the other way and you say there's a less fortunate person, be grateful. So, you know what, if somebody says to me, ek is 'n geelgat, I can tell you I know wealthy people. I would say to you, very few non-whites in our lifetime will actually reach those wealthy levels, where we have trust fund babies and our kids don't ever have to work. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I wake up every day and I go to work. And maybe, unfortunately, it doesn't bother me what somebody's opinion is. It bothers me on what I've done. you're always going to have that in life. You're going to have a scenario of where you're going to have people that you gravitate to and others that have different ideologies. And that's life.
And we are not always going to agree with one another.
100%.
I think we also need to learn that. But, you know, I want to ask you, so now you're this boykie from Nova Park. You guys have worked hard and you are living where you're living. And now you had the opportunity to go to Tokyo in 2019. Tell us more about that.
Well, you know, Tokyo in 2019 was probably one of the biggest eye-openers for me in terms of motorsport. Because you know what happens is, you live on the Cape Flats.
Yeah.
And then you think Cape Town is big. Okay. And then you live in Cape Town, and then you think South Africa is big. And what had happened for me was the USA, Europe, China, Russia. It was the FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup. So the world was there. All these guys that we normally saw just on social media. I mean, my son was fortunate. I think he was the only kid in the entire pits.
Wow.
And it was funny because I was showing him a video, just to digress for a second, of a guy drifting a Ferrari. And what had happened was he was going to each pit. He spent about 2 hours with Mad Mike, etc. Long story short, he comes to me and he says to me, "Dad, listen, I want to ask you something." I laughed at this man because he's telling me he is, I don't know if he's a pit mechanic or what, but he's here with Lucho. And he says, I asked him, "What do you do?" He says he does drifting. And I asked him, "What do you drift?" He said, "I drift a Ferrari." And then I asked him, "What Ferrari?" He says, "F12. So he said to me, he's obviously talking nonsense. He's talking nonsense to me because I'm young. I said to him, Raziek, that man does drift the yellow F12 Ferrari. That was the video I showed you before we arrived. So he said to me, "Dad, are you serious?" Then he went back to him and he spent another 2 hours with him. So I left him alone. It was a safe space. But the thing with Tokyo was, you know, I received quite a bit of flack about Tokyo. And I'll tell you why. Is the first thing was that the person that won Tokyo, or won the right to go to Tokyo, was Johan Steven.
Okay.
And, you know, there's something I've got to give Johan. Even though, you know, we've become good mates over the years, he's probably one of the most consistent drifters in Africa. Not South Africa, in Africa. Because we watch a lot of drifting, so we'll be able to see, listen, how guys are doing. And when Johan won the Drift Outlaw series, so just to give you that explanation, you've got Raziek Custom Car Show, and then you've got Spin Outlaws and Drift Outlaws. Now, if I deal with Drift Outlaws was Western Cape based, and Johan won the series. So the guy that won the series, I had arranged an invite to the FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup because they said they'd like Africa to be involved. And then I was slandered to say, "Yeah, ek kop gefriet met die wit man," and "Yeah, it's supposed to be, what about the man of color?" And I said, it's okay. I said, it's okay. If God wanted me to have broad shoulders, I felt at that time, there's a lot of heat, because when people lose, then we no more Rainbow Nation.
No.
Then it's koop gefriet met wit man. Yeah, then you're on your own. So, you know what? At the end of it, I said I'm not going to succumb to this rhetoric. Johan was the best driver of the season. I think, if I look at it, I think Bronny, Shane, even Zaid, they had mechanical issues. Even Daniel Blazer, they're all awesome drivers. But if Jean's car lost it, good luck to Jean.
Yes.
Do you understand? So I mean, we had an awesome time in Tokyo. It was meeting the world. The world became small. So then I got the number of the man that runs the Russian Drift Series, the guy that runs the US Drift Series. You know what happened was we immediately got invited to a very exclusive table. And let's put it this way. If ever I felt poor in my life, I swear to you, you know, I say to you, I felt wealthier if I walked around in the Nova Park streets to go and collect Kola Barang than how I felt in Tokyo. Let me give you the picture. We rock up there Now our 12 Zek Nova tires get delivered, and total thank you Total South Africa for sponsoring our entire trip. That's another funny story on its own. And I'm looking at this 12 tires and I'm thinking, fantastic, you know, we got our sponsor and we got paid our tickets. And here rocks up Sailing Tires with a whole 8-ton truck of tires. Now I'm looking, I'm thinking, okay, his feet carry, I let you drop full tires. And then, you know, sometimes you look at it, and if I look at it, the guys from Sailing wanted to grow their team. Unfortunately, COVID hit. We did have a plan to bring the world to South Africa. We had 6 of the top drifters around the world booked. And unfortunately, COVID hit, and you know what, we're still recovering in terms of drifting from that. So, but it was an awesome trip.
Awesome. Where did drifting start for you? Like, because I've now heard that you cut up a GTR, and but where did drifting start for you? What you know? Because many youngsters are actually watching, and many of us don't have the opportunity maybe to start at the young age. But where did it start for you?
You know, Stan, if you ask me where I started out, I started doing a lot of lunatic stuff with drag racing.
Okay.
Okay, and I looked at it when we were on the M5 one day, and a guy made a mistake, and he went onto the right lane where the crowd was standing, and he knocked somebody's leg off, clean.
Okay.
And then I looked at it and I said to myself when I got home, I said, okay, you jumped in the car and you drove away because you knew the cops is coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said to myself, do you want to be in the illegal space? Or what is your goal?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we're used to illegality around us, we take it as a norm.
Yeah.
So if it was normal for us just to walk in a shop and grab a bread and not pay for it, then everybody would do it because it's normal. So I said, no man, this is not where I want to find myself. And drifting started for me when a mate of mine asked me to come to a track, and he said, just jump in this car and see what this feels like. And when you feel the adrenaline rush of sitting in a drift car, that's why they assimilate drifting to skydiving sideways. It is, let's put it this way, it was a love relationship that started and so far hasn't ended.
Yeah. And so you have now moved to Killarney, right? So this is where a lot of your events are happening, and you are in a more secure environment. How is government supporting this? Because that's the one thing that we always complain about. We're not getting support from government, and also how's the businesses supporting this? Because spinning is big, it's very big. Like you said, now in our community, on the Cape Flats, and even other communities as well. How can we make this also a sport for people to participate in legally?
Okay, so maybe let me just backtrack for a second. On the drifting box, drifting has always sort of, for 70% of it, been in a safe, legal, controlled environment because of the speed.
Yeah.
So yes, you can go drifting on the roads and do weird stuff, and some guys have done it. I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of it, but let me rather leave that topic off. But the fact of the matter is that for the large part of it, in terms of drifting, you can't really go sideways at 140 unless you're going to hit hospital bin.
Yeah.
So the day that if you see an unmarked car and a driver that's got a mask on and he's doing 140 sideways in hospital bin, I don't know, it might just be some crazy guy that you maybe met along the way. But in terms of spinning, that's another funny story. My son that was with us in Tokyo, I always say to him, because like now this weekend that passed, was sort of his coming out party in tandem drifting. So he was sticking it in my door and feeling all proud of it. I said to him, did you forget Tokyo? You almost took us off the hill.
Yeah.
He was the one that wanted to go into spinning.
Okay.
And I looked at it and I said, listen, I'm not here to knock anybody. I'm not here to have an opinion about it, but I prefer a safe, legal environment. And that's how Spin Outlaws started. So it started because a 11-year-old wanted to spin, and I was just uncomfortable in the sense of saying there isn't anything. So if you ask me what has government done, I think we need to step back for a second. It's not the responsibility of a municipality to go and zone things or zone areas and build stadiums. That's not their mandate. Their mandate is to assist and manage events. And that's the reason why quite a few years back we sort of tied up with Killarney.
Okay.
When there as well I was said was Maki Witman Rek. I couldn't understand the logic. But any event, I think now that some parties are now also at Killarney, it's probably acceptable. So, be that as it may, the point is that when we started this relationship with Killarney, we've got Renzo, that's the chairperson on the Sportscom board of spinning, and then I'm the chairperson of drifting. So, in that sense, I'm not saying to you that I haven't been to an illegal pitch. I'm not saying to you that we haven't spinned at an illegal pitch. Is it something that I like to do? No. Is it something that I find exciting? No. But if it works for you, I'm happy for you. You understand? And I believe that in the world of motorsport, we all should have the right to choose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I see something that I'm doing which is not the easiest thing, yes, there's various challenges that people face, and that part I will accept. That, you know what, you've got local communities that enjoy the sport and potentially don't have the monies or the ability to get out to Killarney International Raceway or a motorsport facility. And it's probably easier to do it within the local area where there is a certain number of spinners. But I also draw a very simple analogy. Last year we had the biggest event at Killarney International Raceway.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights.
Okay.
You were there. And there was just about 7,500 people there. Cape Town has got just about 7 million people. Okay,
so it's 1% of the 7. Not even 1%.
It's 0.1%.
0.1%.
So when I'm going to want to come and spin in your area here, not everybody's going to agree to it. And that's the reason why I said I'm not prepared to take on that challenge. Because if one person complains, that's could potentially end this whole road of where you want to do something. And that's the reason why when I'd spoken to Renzo Quickfall, who's the national coordinator for Spin Outlaws, I said to him, Renzo, my goal is to take motorsport forward. If you want to walk that road with me, we'll be best of friends. If your goal is politics, then we might as well part ways. And Renzo had the same ideology as me, and you know what, at the end of it, we find ourselves where we find ourselves today.
The other thing that I want to mention, I see, so there's a lot of politics, you spoke about politics, but I also saw politics amongst the drivers and the groups. I saw videos last year of Outlaw and this team not getting along, but there was also a live video. There was a bit of rage in there. What happened there?
Stan, do you have security here for me when I leave? The thing is this, what I'd say to you, Stan, it was an unfortunate video. We have addressed it legally. There was this narrative posed that we went and represented the Western Cape unmandated, and it was so far from the truth. What we actually did was we went and introduced Spin Outlaws from the 9 provinces to Mario Francis, who was announced by the Minister of Sport, Gayton McKenzie, as the head of the Spinning Federation. So Mario Francis did make a call before the live, and he advised the guys that they've got the wrong end of the stick, but it still continued. And we've addressed it legally for a simple reason, is that, you know, at some point, you've got to realize, if you want to climb a ladder, do so honorably. don't do so by me trampling you. We've never gone and stuck our nose into anybody else's business around the country.
Yeah.
The fact that it was unfortunate, and I guess we all have the right to believe what we want to believe, but the facts might be different to what our opinion is.
Yeah.
So you might think this is clear, and I say this is light blue. We have a right of opinion.
Exactly.
But there is a color chart that will tell us exactly what color this is.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So unfortunately, the color chart was not representing Western Cape. It was representing the country.
Yeah. But would you say, like, we still have this thing where we're saying this is a white man's sport and this is for color. Do you still think this? Do you think we're making this more about color than we're making it about the sport?
You know, I would say that's a 50-50 answer.
Okay.
Okay. In the sense that, have I heard statements made to me of those people from those areas? Yes, I have. Has that deterred what we are doing? No, it hasn't. So, what was the goal when this was all started?
Yeah.
The goal was to evolve non-white motorsport. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Has it been achieved? Without a doubt, yes.
Okay.
So the fact of the matter is that if one's going to bother oneself with negative commentary, you're never going to get anywhere in life.
No.
So the point for me is, I don't mind, Stan, if you don't like me.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
But Raziek, you have this big billboard behind your back. If everybody is targeting you, kyk jy man, kom ons eerlik, jy soek vir kak eers. Because
Like my soek.
if you at the sports, if you are wherever, people are like, we know Raziek, he's baie vol van himself. Is it just that you are yourself? Because, you know, sometimes you can't also do what people want you to do. You must do what is right for you and your family, first of all.
You know, the thing is this, Stan. I've never been somebody that chose to be popular. I chose to be effective. And when you choose to be effective, not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
For the simple reason is that, you see, when the spinning environment, when I got into it, okay, I had some guys that were in it for yonks, for years.
Yeah.
And they said to me, my bra, jy gaat mos nooit laat die manne 'n skateboard helmet dra. Hulle gaat mos nooit.
Yeah.
Waar gaan die manne lang mou dra? I had a vision. And Renzo was my, I wouldn't say right hand. Renzo was the partner that walked forward with me, Renzo Quickform. And Pedro being the judge, we left him there because he's most always opinionated, man. Hy het altyd iets om te sê. So, let's say my the judge was, man.
Yeah.
You understand? No, but he's a cool guy, all said and done. So, the point in case is when the guys did encounter the rule pack, it was something new in spinning because we published a rule pack.
Okay.
And I'm not throwing sort of curveballs at anybody, but the fact of the matter is you can't go to a competition where of late people sometimes have rule packs and then they evolve the rules afterwards to suit who's going to be the winner.
Yeah.
Or if they do have a rule pack, it's so secret nobody even knows it exists. So I said it's got to be fair game, because when you're having a competition, I was also slandered for the simple reason is obstacle spinning is not spinning. Okay, so how do you run a spinning competition?
Yeah.
Because if you run freestyle, then beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So I didn't have a problem with freestyle. We wanted to set up a racing series. And you cannot set up a racing series without a format.
Correct.
So Spin Outlaws evolved the way spinning was seen by a lot of people. Because what had happened was you had social media flooded with cars driving in unsanctioned places. Various things happening. And then you had, yes, in Joburg, and Joburg has got spinning pitches.
Yes.
And they've done well for themselves, and good luck to them. But in the Cape, it hasn't been the case. So, for the last number of years, we've had this upward and downward cycle where, hey, jy kan nie by Kalani spin nie, hy pizza so. Ander people came in, so net die pizzas is so nie, was dit mense wat so gewees het. So, the point in case is, that all never bothered me. At the end of it, the reality of it is, I look at what has come out of this. Now, let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a few examples, not just one. Boxing, Chad Wanaji.
Yes.
Did you know him 4 years ago?
No.
Okay. Now, let me explain to you what happened with Chad Wanaji. You see, you've got somebody that's got natural skill. Now, boxing's got natural skill. Was it harnessed? Was it exposed?
Yeah.
That's where the car show, that's where the social media platform comes in. Now, Stan, you've got a great following. You've got a great amount of followers.
Yeah.
Now, if I say to you tonight that sometimes people say I'm doing it for social media, and I say to you, Stan, we've reached 122 million people, stats-wise.
Yeah.
Are you going to dislike me? I do get people that dislike me. Now,
Yes.
the reason, my point of what I'm getting to is when Red Bull said to myself and Renzo, they said it to me, but I'm saying myself and Renzo because the two of us make that final call. Give us your wild card. I said, Chad Wanaji. Renzo said, I 100% second what you're saying. We said, fine, we're both in agreement, perfect, let him go.
Yeah.
So he went up to Red Bull. Fairly much under. And he came second.
Wow. In the Red Bull event.
In the Shy Motor event. So Red Bull being a partner of Spin Outlaws, the point in case of what I'm saying is, sometimes people want to own someone.
Yeah.
The goal of Outlaws is to enhance somebody's skill.
Yes.
Whoever's driven in, you know, I've got videos. What happened was when the guys were complaining, ja, my broer skateboard, ja, die manne maak gat van ons om te sê, ons dra skateboard, die helmet en ons spin, ons lyk soos poppe.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know what I did? I put up the camera, because now we shot everything. And I said, guys, just take a look how many people is knocking their head when they're doing a flip here.
Yeah,
A kapje jou kop teen aan die rollbar.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, listen guys, understand something. There's a specific goal we've got here. The goal is to woo Motorsport South Africa.
Yeah.
Because Motorsport South Africa, not in a bad way, but if they see people flying out of a car, somebody knocking another car, then you want to get upset when somebody says, listen, that's hooligans.
Yes.
We need to show them a controlled, safe, legal format. And we've achieved that.
Yes.
So I'm not saying somebody else doesn't have a controlled, safe, legal format. What I'm saying is that we do have long sleeves. We say when it's competition, you got to wear a safety belt. And whether you're the most experienced driver, you will have a helmet on.
Exactly.
So I don't know what the big deal was, but even up to last year, there was discussions and everything. I'm taking the biggest spinners in the country for a joke. What for me was something where I stood back and I said, I think we did something right. Is when you see the most experienced drivers and spinners stand on the line and you can see clean out die man se plata hak. That you know a race driver. A race driver has, when your left leg is starting to shake, that's when you know you got him.
Okay.
And that's what Outlaws has done with guys.
But now the thing is this, I saw a video, I posted a video over the weekend where a guy flew out of the car. So they made the turn in this, but I was like, ek by die car. But since say there was no like, daar was 'n baie big muur gewees. En ek kap sy kop teen die muur. He could have died.
Stan, ek het al klaar mense wat ek eers ken nie wat vir my haat. Jy vra my no dangerous questions, my bro. What I would say to you is a very simple answer.
Yeah.
I drift and my son spins in a specific environment.
Yeah.
Not because we're lucky, not because it costs an arm and a leg. At the end of the day, to own a race car, it does cost a little bit of money.
Exactly.
So we are not talking about somebody that is struggling for a plate of food. So if you feel that you'd rather drive in a space where the crowd is literally on the car, that's your right.
Yeah.
I prefer not to, because at the end of the day, when something goes wrong, you see enough videos. Somebody drove into a taxi, somebody's leg got hurt, somebody's flipped over. And when that happens, then you suddenly have this epiphany and you say, nah, my bro,
Yeah.
Now, you do what makes you happy. Let me do what makes me happy.
Exactly.
But what I've experienced is people have slandered me because I've been advocating a safer protocol for race driving.
Yeah.
So, have I driven unsafe before? Yes, I have. I'm not going to not acknowledge it. Have I diced illegally on the road? Yes, I have. But the fact of the matter is, if I choose not to, that's also my right.
Yes.
So now that Motorsport South Africa has accepted the rules and regs of Spin Outlaws, and that's become the standard for the Spin Kana, and we now have an interprovincial series and a regional series where a spinner is going to be dubbed a Western Province spinner. You're going to have a interprovincial champion, and in 2026 we'll have a national champion. And our goal is to create a Springbok in spinning. Now, you can say that, or you can actually go and do it. We've actually gone and done it. Now, if you don't like me because somebody's going to become a Springbok in spinning, and that's something you thought of, but you never worked towards, we've been working for it for 5 years.
It didn't happen overnight.
To some people it happened overnight, yeah. Het val van die sama. But it didn't fall. It took a lot of wooing, and I mean, I appreciate Covain government. And now, you know, the thing is this, what's important for me to also do is to thank the fraternities from around the country that has stood with us from day one. Now, in Western Cape, we've got Shane Green and Bronnie White that heads up Spin Outlaws. Regional, and from a regional perspective. A regional perspective from Northern Cape, it's Bobby Dada. He's from Team Saluki, and then we've got Rohan Engelbrecht, known as Wani 69 throughout the country. Northwest, we've got Chris Abrams and Des Dada. In Mpumalanga, we've got Zenzi and we've got Christian Nadu. Free State, we've got Lebs and we've got Selvan Olivier. Eastern Cape, we've got Shabir Lahe and Elton Joshua. Limpopo, we've got Firoz Kasim, known as Fizo, and then we've got Joseph Morudu. And then in KZN, we've got Glenn Kippen and Clinton Crawley. And Gauteng, we've got Riyadh, known as Rio Mohammed, and Sunesh Prasad, known as Sushi. So, when we went up to see Mario Francis, we did go and represent 9 provinces. There's going to be 9 provinces driving in the interprovincial series. The finals is in Cape Town this year. So we started off in Eastern Cape. From there we moved to Gauteng. Gauteng we then moved to KZN. So we've got 4 legs, and the final leg is in Cape Town.
Cape Town, okay. And this is all happening during the year. Do you have dates for us?
Yes, I do have dates for you. So the interprovincial for Eastern Cape, we just had a bit of a clash. So in that sense, you know, between the drifting dates and I'll tell you what had happened was I had a chat with Mikey Skelton, and Hyperdrift that's coming up happens on the 4th of April. So that clashed with our spinning date, our regional spinning date. So, you know, the calendar that I'm doing, I would swear, my wife said to me, I got to make an appointment to see you when it comes in the months. So, all said and done, I mean, the national calendar, and I'd rather open up the calendar here so I don't get confused. We'll have 12th of April will be Eastern Cape. We've got 24th of May will be Gauteng. We've got 14th of June that will be Durban, KZN. So that no probability will be that's run by so Gauteng is done by Sunesh and Rio. So Durban will be 14th. That's the KDS crew that is running that over there, and then Cape Town will be the 4th of October. That'll be the bragging rights finals, like the one that we've been to. The only difference on it is last year we didn't have an interprovincial, whereas this year we are.
Okay. And also the thing that I want to ask you about spinning is busy blowing up in South Africa. It has always been a big thing, but I think people are amplifying it now. And just to come back to our previous conversation. So when I posted a video of the guy flying out of the car, now we need to also look at what the people are saying, because people can easily label something wrong because of the people that participated. And people say, but that is a sport that Tikkopo is doing, that is people are doing with a low IQ. Do you think that we should be more responsible when it comes to this type of sports? Because we're not only representing ourselves, we are representing the bigger community. And like you also said correctly, Joburg has more pizzas. We only had, I think, one pizza now, which is in Linter here. We still need to obviously grow still where we need more facilities.
What I would say to you, Stan, is, you know, I'm very guarded to voice my opinion about what you're talking about. But what I will say to you is this. That in terms of sponsors, it's rather difficult. Because you do get asked the question, do you take ownership of the spinner? That is not going to have my branding on and go and do something stupid. And for that reason, I've stayed out of the sponsor relationship between a spinner and a sponsor. What I've done and what we've done as a grouping is we've created a platform, and the platform that we've created is a platform that you are able to shine. So the fact of the matter is that I think it's you know what, on one hand you would want to say that you don't blame certain people in the public for drawing the impression that they're drawing. On the other hand, I'd rather focus on what we're doing. I'd rather put that energy into that, because otherwise you get into this whole long debate of reasons and justifications. If you feel that works for you, and you're going to do it again next weekend, okay, that's what you do. You know what I mean? The fact is, I don't form part of law enforcement or Metro Police. So let them rather resolve how they want to resolve. You understand? I'd rather focus on saying that I'm the race master in a series. And when the juniors drive, I'm not a race master because my son was driving in the series. So we've got a very exciting something very exciting coming up in the next 2 weeks. It's the gala dinner at Killarney International Raceway, Western Province Motor Club. And I mean, last year was the first spinner ever to be awarded. And I'm okay with it. You know, at the end of the day,
you're always going to get it right.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. I'm not going to impede his racing ability because somebody's got something nasty to say. It was something very difficult for him as a youngster to sort of grapple with adults slandering him and actually telling him to his face, oh, you know what, you only drive well because your father got you a better motor. And in the meantime, he's probably got the slowest car on the pitch. So the thing about life is, I think the goal for Spin Outlaws, when we get to track, it's great competition, and the Oaks have great fun. And if you're going to focus on what armchair referees have to say, then you're in the wrong space.
Yes. You guys were out of the country recently, and we still have minutes, a few minutes left. What did the guys do out of the country?
We went on a motorsport convention / expedition.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw Pedro's video, where he was wanting to walk onto this yacht. He won the race, and then he got so he said, okay, I love yachts.
Yeah.
And I don't own one. Maybe one day.
One day.
As ek die regte kroon kry, kan ek 'n yacht koop. But so he said to our host that I'd like to go on a yacht, and I didn't know that our host actually owns a mega yacht. So and that's why I made that funny video with him where he was struggling to open the gate, and it said the crew and guests. I told him, Pedro, do you know why you can't open up the gate? I said, because you're an accident. So, but okay, it was a sport. He posted it on social media. You know the thing what I'd say to you, Stan, and the question you're asking, I'm not evading it. I'm not the type of guy, neither is Renzo the type of guy, or Pedro the type of guy to go on social media and say, hey, see, we're here. This is what we're doing. If it comes off, great. What the goal is to set up an intercontinental spinning cup.
Okay.
We've got the buy-in. We've had Kuven Govender, who's a close ally of ours from Motorsport South Africa, is one of the directors on the board, and we've got buy-in from 8 African countries. So if that takes place, then what the minister said about he wants to create a springbok in spinning, we've made his job very easy. You just have to come and award it.
And this can possibly happen next year.
that's why we put up the post hashtag 2026 loading.
Yeah.
The thing is this, whether it's 2026, guaranteed 2027, it will happen. So the goal is that, there's been a lot of funny comments about what's the point of colors, what's the point of this, and if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't. For me, I think it's an honor because I've driven in so many different sport genres, and what do you take home at the end? You know what I mean? So I took your duck. Hey, you could do that. I'd rather, you know what, for me, if I look at it, if I look at somebody like Josh White, let me not talk about my son, because then they're going to say I'm promoting my son. So let's forget he's the Western Province Motor Club champion, and let's forget that he did the best for the year. Let me talk about Josh White. If I'm going to show you videos of Josh White, 2 years ago, he couldn't do a donut properly. And if you look at Josh White today, that's Bronny White's son, a lady can drive.
Okay.
Shay Green has always had a crazy ability. You know the Greens? Hulle is mile drivers, so they're born like that, I think. They come out and their one hand is probably on the gear knob. If you look at Shay, if you look at Josh, if you look at Mohamed Raziek, for me I stand back and I'm proud to say, you know what? They're carrying a proper flag and they can hold it properly. For me, for somebody that has a child, we've never, Outlaws has always been open to everybody. And when you hold your child back because you don't like me, I don't mind if you don't greet me, Stan. I'm okay, ek is alright. Maar laat jy die korrei man, laat jy die bitter word man.
But why are people like that? They don't like you. Now they're keeping their children away from you. And that brings me to the following point also. And we can maybe cover the whole thing. People are linking you to a political party. And because you're linked to a political party, and we know which political party it is, people don't want to support you.
Okay, so let me understand this. Alright. I was accused, and I know where you're going with this, so let me hit it out one time. The event you were at, Ricardo McKenzie came out, and I got a number of backlash messages to say, Jacob Olsamari DA. Okay.
Fadil Sikavera.
No, that doesn't matter. No, I don't want to knock Fadil. The thing is this, I'm not here to knock Fadil, I'm not here to knock the PA, ANC, because you can't bring politics into motorsport.
Yes.
We did invite the minister, right? We did invite Minister Gayton McKenzie, and I invited him over 3 weeks. I sent the email myself, and we got a response that unfortunately his calendar doesn't allow. Okay. So we said, fine, we've honored the minister, and let's then honor our local MEC, the local Minister of Sport. And without somebody knowing what the facts are, then they say we're coupling with the DA. Now, the fact of the matter is, for me, that's unfair. It's unfair from the fact is that you don't need to trust no process. Ask somebody what the facts are, and then you'll get the facts. The minister has asked South African spinning organizations to engage with Mario Francis. We've done that. We provided him a proposal last year in November. I've gone on a live and I said I've met Mario, and he's a great guy. Now, we are the only official racing format in spinning in South Africa. In my opinion, if not the best, we have some of the best spinners that are going to be going head to head. Now, as non-whites, we've always been treated as second-class citizens. Now we've got Minister Gayton McKenzie that's there, and we're hopeful that he's actually going to look at our applications, because I've received some commentary back to me, yeah, the minister's only going to a particular event. So I said, maybe the man was busy. You know, sometimes we want to sort of psychoanalyze things. They had the decency to respond to me, and that's fine. Because I can't make it to go everywhere at any particular time, and maybe that just clashed with the database. So why read more into it? We are the official national series and regional series under the auspices of Motor South Africa, where Motorsport South Africa is sanctioned by SASCOC, and SASCOC is sanctioned by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. We've asked for assistance, not for me to go to Europe on holiday, but for that average guy that maybe can't afford to travel around the country. Because the sport of drifting and spinning, you're not sitting, drifting I would say it's a 50-50, Spinning, it's more of a 90-10, where maybe 10 to 20% can afford to do that travel, and the other 80% can't afford. So our plea to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture is not for Raziek Rajah, it's for the sport.
Yeah.
So the minister made the commitment where he said, I want to see spinning go forward. And with that I want to say, you've got the racing format and you've got freestyle spinning. To me, if the minister wants to sponsor billions of rands to whichever fraternity that he feels deserves it, that's fine. But I don't think it would be nice to ignore the premium guys in the country that are driving under MSA's banner.
Yeah, yeah.
That wouldn't be cool.
And the thing is, MSA has been around for years, right? And they are officially the governing body of motorsport. And that makes them a serious force to reckon with, because you have to comply.
100%.
And many people might not comply, and that's the reason why they don't like MSA, because there's a lot, from what I see, politics always breaks up things. So what would you say, why must all the guys come under one banner of MSA?
You see, what I would say is this, the guys, if they want to end up in a racing environment, then you have no option but to go under MSA, because MSA is sanctioned by government to oversee the safety and the regulation of events. So people get confused where they think MSA is just there for love and fresh air.
Yeah.
MSA checks the rules. MSA checks the objections. You got to explain it to them. Secondly is you have your insurances if anything happens to you. Like, I'll give you an example. We had in 2022, Sunesh Pursad went up against Renzo Dada. And because of the heavy competition we have in Spin Outlaws, Sunesh Pursad lost by 0.02 seconds. Alright?
0.2 seconds.
0.02 seconds. He didn't put up a protest. The thing with Outlaws is we are the only motorsport fraternity in South Africa, I don't know about Africa, that does VAR.
Okay.
So if you as a driver protest, like Yusuf Akir protested, we checked the VAR, he was right.
Yeah.
Somebody else protested from Durban against one of the other drivers, he was wrong. So what we've done with Outlaws, both on Drift and Spin Outlaws, we brought fairness in. Now MSA is that fairness barrier as well, where it's a regulated section of rules. So you have a clock of the course, you have a safety officer, there's certain stuff mandated. That's the law. I never created the law.
The law was there all the time.
I was there all the time. Yes. So if you want to be involved in a racing format, if you want to do freestyle, then you can go to the other guys and get an insurance, and that's cool.
Yeah.
We've done that all the years. I'm done with doing that. We want to create a racing environment.
Yeah. So that brings me to the question, we still have a few minutes left. This brings me to the question where, what's the beef in Cape Town? Because like whenever you talk about Raziek,
laat ek 'n bietjie water drink.
Whenever you talk about Raziek, it's like,
can you blow in this water for me? Blast in the water.
So what is the beef in Cape Town, Raziek? And then also,
when you find that out one day, Stan, when you find that out, come and let me know.
But just are people just beefing because they don't just like you?
You know, Stan, what I would say to you is this. I do think I'm a very headstrong person in terms of if there's a goal in sight, I won't deny that. The point in case is, I think if I wasn't that headstrong, Raziek Custom Car Show would have never even been on TV, because I approached 36 people who all took me for a total joke. Until I found one person that said, okay, I'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
So when it came to whatever I did in my life, I said, I'd rather fail miserably than give up. So many people have tried to woo motorsport South Africa and not succeeded. They are extremely, I would say, committed to ensuring that everything is above board. We ran our exhibition here, where we did it and showed them, this is what we've done.
Yeah.
So we've done all of those things, and I think, you know what, at the end of the day, the reality of it is, I'm not going to psychoanalyze why somebody like me, don't like me, because what's the point of it? I'd rather say, you know what, when people say, I'm never going to talk to somebody, you might as well go back to grade 2. I'll talk to my enemy.
Yes.
As long as we have a common goal, that's fine. And that's what you learn out of doing business on a bigger level. That's what you do out of dealing with people that you, because if you believe that hate is going to expand your horizons,
Never.
it never has and never will.
As we close, you've asked Youngster CPT to do a song for you. Now, how do you think you did right? And where did the idea come from? Because I mean, you cut up a GTR.
You know, when I approached Riyadh, I think he looked at me and he thought, die ding is mal man. Hy kom van Valkenburg af. So I said to him, youngster, listen brother, I need a bang up song. I need somebody to sing my name and these words with. I said to him, all I can say to you is this. It will be your most played song on TV. Now you must know at that time there's no airing of the TV series. And to date, that song of his, I say it with respect, has probably played more times than probably his biggest hit on TV, because Raziek Custom Car Show is aired over probably, I would say, 2,500 times.
Okay.
3,000 times. And every time it airs, beginning and end, it's his song.
Okay.
And every time you go to a break, it's his song. So you times that by a couple. So, you know what? What I want to say to a guy like Youngster, that year he won the Africa Award for the Best Rap Artist.
Nice.
But what I want to say to him is, Riyadh, what you showed that time is not all about the money. Because what the man gave me, the mechanical and the copyright of the song, because I needed that.
Nice.
So it's not about me saying, I own Youngsters. This, it's got nothing to do with that. It shows the character of Youngster. Genuine guy. I mean, he didn't know me from a bar or so, but he sing die man come and say, sing the number for me. So, long story short, you know what? It's been an awesome road.
It's worth it.
A lot of pain, but it's worth it.
I want to end the show. Is there anything you want to say to a young raiser? Don't cut up your GTRs. But if there's anything you want to say to a young raiser growing up in the Nova Park, the possibilities.
You control your own destiny. It's not about saying I need to make R1 million. Happiness comes sometimes when you earn R100. But if you have an ability, don't allow someone to take you away or deter you from what your passion is. If your passion is A, go for it. Because if you're looking for a SASSA card, you might as well get it now. Hard work never killed anybody.
Exactly.
So the reality of it is, stop feeling sorry for yourself. At the end of the day, you want something, go and get it. Whether you get quarter of it, half of it, at least you've tried. That's my message.
Raziek, thank you so much. Don't cut up cars anymore. Leave that. But thank you so much for coming through, speaking to the people out there, because spinning is quite big. And we need to have more of this type of show. So encourage young people to do spinning responsibly. And all the best, and the events that is coming off, I'll definitely post it on the platform so that more people can support it. This event that is coming off will be all over the provinces, right?
All over, and we've got a regional series in Drift and Spin Outlaws that happens at Killarney as well.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it from Raziek himself. Follow them, Raziek Customs, on Facebook, on TikTok, and Instagram as well.
That's right.
Yeah, follow them and check what they're doing. Guys, thank you so much. Please prepare yourself for Pwaza. Ek vra julle baie mooi gedrag vir die Pwaza tyd, né? Cheers, guys. Cool. Thank you, Raziek. Thank you so much. Daar vra ek my wat soek terwyl ek met jou praat. So yeah, so that event happening on the 19th. It's at the library in Ocean View.
Okay.
So that they just want to make it like for people, maybe the youngsters to come to the library more often to make use of the facility. And you know, we have issues. Youngsters don't, our children don't make use of the libraries, and it's a safe space for